Jeremy, we were talking about how people react to change. Now, not everyone reacts favourably, as we know. The one thing that I find quite tricky to tackle is when they get defensive. If there's an element of, I don't want to know, I don't agree. I'll give you an example. I had an employee who had worked for the company the year before, the season before. And I was brought in as the manager, having had all the training and everything, and there were changes since last year. And when I took him up on some issues that were happening, decided that he knew better than I did, and I should be more aware of how he worked and how it should be, or how it was. So that defensiveness was a big problem. What are your thoughts?
Right. Well, yes, that's another good example. I think one of the things about the defensive reaction, or the overly assertive, or even the very aggressive reaction, is that it can come as a surprise. It can wrong foot you if it's not what you're expecting. I mean, some people, they're always going to be defensive and they're going to be angry, and you're prepared for that. And that results in a feeling in your stomach as, you get that sort of, the butterfly in the stomach kind of feeling. And you can, in these opening stages maybe of the conversation, feel a bit uncertain and lacking in confidence. So the first thing to do is to control your emotion and to just remind yourself that you are the manager, that you were appointed a manager by the organisation. You have that authority invested in you, and you have every right to raise this issue. So get your self-talk, if you like, right. You're not on an equal footing with them. You do have a right to have this conversation. If someone is very aggressive in the opening stages, I usually let them have their say, which is good anyway. Let them kind of blow themselves out. Then I use a technique called paraphrasing to very calmly reflect back to them what I've understood them to say to me. So in this situation, I might say, so what you're saying is, you feel a lot more knowledgeable than I am about the overall situation which we're involved in. And also, you disagree with the changes that have been made over the last months. Have I got that right? They may then say, yes, and what's more, and go on another tirade. Or they may just say, yeah, that's right. Whichever they do, you then start with open questions. How do you come to that conclusion? What is it that makes you feel that you have more knowledge than I have? Why do you feel that these changes were not necessary? Who in particular is it that you're finding it difficult to work with? When did you start feeling this way? And by using open, probing questions, the fact is, if I'm asking questions, I'm in control. Because they're having to answer those questions, and I can be thinking up my next question and beginning to steer the questions in the direction I want to go rather than they want to go. It's a subtle thing. However, it's really important to keep your questioning. And as they begin to open up and say more, you can then use a bit more than a summary by way of paraphrase, and you can actually summarize. So let me just summarize what you've been saying. 1, 2, 3, 4. Have I really got that straight? And that is showing active listening and active concern. By this time, your adult behavior and your cool and calm, collected skills should be beginning to bring the temperature down. Also, you should be able to diagnose what is valid and what's invalid in what they're saying. Focus then on the valid. You said earlier on this. How can we work together on this? Or if you feel that it's their responsibility alone to tackle it, it would be, how are you going to be able to work on that? We, if it's really a partnership issue, you if it's really down to them and you're sending more signals of it's down to them and they're accountable. Don't be afraid to be assertive.
Mm-hmm.
We are having this conversation today because I'm concerned about the overall performance of the team and your performance within the team, which reflects on my performance. I need you to understand that this behavior needs to change. I need you to change that in a way that it is much more constructive, and I need you to do that sooner rather than later. I'm happy to help you and support you, but I need you to make these changes. Are we agreed on that? So then, in conclusion, let's just summarize what you're going to do. Let's summarize, if it's appropriate, what I'm going to do. Let's meet together in 1 week's time, make it a short time frame, and let's review the progress that you've made and that I've made, and then we can take stock again and go forward from there. So I'll see you this time next week. And that's the way you sort of control it. Let them get the anger out, use paraphrasing and summarizing, listen carefully, don't interrupt, use open probing questions, hold them accountable, come up with a tight time frame to meet again. Those would be the key points, I think, that could help you in handling defensive reactions.
Thank you.